Our universe is so vast, it is so incredibly amazing, but when I look out into the stars, I can't help but feel that this 3D time-space reality, this physical universe, actually represents the quarantine that you hear so many people talk about. Humanity is, in fact, quarantined, and we're not quarantined by time and space. That's just the effect of the quarantine. We're quarantined based on frequency. When our vibration drops, when we get into this vibration of fear and this vibration of separation, what happens is we manifest a dense reality that appears to reflect time and space, meaning that we have to move through space and move through time to go from one place to another. We start at point A, we have to move through time and space to get to point B, and that can take a very long time. So physics says we can't travel faster than the speed of light, that it's physically impossible. Therefore, when we look up into space and we see these objects, these galaxies that are light years, multiple light years away, millions, hundreds, thousands, millions of light years away, it makes it impossible for us to ever get there. Physics says we cannot travel faster than light, period. Now, that effectively is a quarantine, isn't it? Meaning that we're kind of stuck here. Yeah, we could get out into space and we could get to some of the other planets in the solar system. Maybe we could get a little bit farther than that if we have technology that slows down aging and puts us to sleep. Or maybe we could even go farther than that if we have multi-generations on starships, right? And a way to power these craft, these starships, so that we could get beyond the solar system and into other solar systems and maybe eventually to another galaxy. But that takes many, 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 many years, right? So we feel as though we're the only ones here. We're stuck. And if it's that difficult for us because of physics, well, then it must be difficult for any other beings that are out there. So essentially, we're alone here. No other being out there can approach us because the distances are just way too vast. Now, that is a quarantine. That is from a frequency perspective. We are thinking of our reality through the human lens, through the density of the vibration that is holding this physical matter together at this point in history, this point in the human collective's frequency. So therefore, when we think of reality and see it through Newtonian physics, yeah, essentially we are quarantined. But again, that quarantine is a function of our vibration and the frequency that we are manifesting the reality through. Okay, so that's a very important distinction. Now, if we were to rise into a higher frequency bandwidth, all of a sudden, those rules that were governing our reality at a lower vibration kind of tend to fall away. And now it opens it up to other possibilities. And quantum physics really opened the doorway for these types of ideas to start to land. So as these ideas start to land and we start to experiment, and we start to look to the stars and we start to see other realities, they start to come into our knowing and come into our experience. Those old ties that held us to a 3D, purely time-space reality start to drop away. So they're no longer as relevant. Now we start thinking that, well, maybe we can get somewhere else even beyond the speed of light by warping space and warping time, right? So new ideas start to land, consciousness starts to expand, and we start to open up to higher frequency realities that were out of our experience when we were at a lower vibration. Something amazing happened just the other day, a really cool experience. My younger son, Jeremy, he bought this telescope and he took it outside and he had to leave it out there for a period of time because it gathers light and creates amazing images, and comes back in and he shows me this image of the Sombrero Galaxy. And this galaxy is nearly 30 million light years away. Okay, that's not 30 million miles away. That is 30 million light years away, meaning that it would take 30 million years traveling at the speed of light to get there. Impossible, isn't it? Right? So what else that means is that this vision, this image that he had captured, is looking into the past 30 million years. So we really don't know what that galaxy looks like today. We're seeing it as it was 30 million years ago. That's a mind-blowing concept when you start to try to comprehend the vastness of space, okay? And when you start to comprehend the vastness of space, you can't help but comprehend the amount of time it takes to navigate the vastness of space. And again, that goes back to the idea of humanity being quarantined. So when we start to look at it from a quantum level, though, we know, because we've been shown, that there is a non-locality characteristic to physical matter, right, in the quantum field. So because you are feeling or appearing as though you're separate, you are not truly separate. What happens in here affects everything else out there, and it happens instantaneously. In fact, it could actually happen before the effect, before the cause. Before the cause. Okay, so there's some squirreliness with time as far as that goes too. So now, when we're looking out into space and our human brain's trying to comprehend these vast distances, we are really starting to tune in to a new way of thinking, a new reality, where we are realizing that we can have an effect on these objects that are across the universe, right? That seem to be so far away that there's no way we can interact with them. We can, in fact, interact with them on a quantum level. That starts to open up now all these ideas of how maybe our star guides, our ET guides, can traverse these vast distances. Maybe they're not really traversing vast distances. Maybe they're just traversing or navigating different frequencies of reality. And as humanity starts to rise up into these higher frequency bandwidths of reality, those beings that already reside there start to become visible. We start to be able to perceive them. Okay, we don't need to go anywhere. It's all non-local. We don't need to travel here. We don't need to travel there. They exist here. They exist now. But through the quantum field, through the 0-point field, we're moving into different realities. We are moving out of a strictly physical belief and moving into an energetic reality where we know that we are far beyond our physical being, that we exist everywhere. We are multidimensional. That's what quantum physics terms non-locality. We can affect particles over vast distances without having to travel there. It can happen instantaneously. So as these ideas start to land, we start to expand our thinking, and we start to realize that we are more connected to everything that's out there. In fact, we start to understand that, well, if we're connected to it, it must be us, right? We're all part of Source. So these separation barriers of time and space start to fall away. So you start to be able to open yourself up to having these experiences of non-locality, meaning that you can have you could start to remote view. You can bilocate. You can actually be physically present in one space and actually be physically present in another space and perceive what's happening in both of those spaces. Now, I've had those experiences numerous times. I've been sitting in a chair in my old office, and I'd be simultaneously on a craft with one of my ET guides flying past Saturn. Okay, bilocation experience. Remote viewing, being able to perceive something that is occurring or existing in another time and in another space. Okay, we are truly connected. This gets into the opening up of your chakras and the alignment and the energy coming up here and getting into your third eye, and your third eye activating and your third eye expanding, and you start to be able to perceive the guidance and the intuition from your higher self. You start to be able to perceive a new reality that consists of energy and seeing auras and things like that were always there, but when you were operating from that time-space separate reality, you were not focused into them. When you start to expand these ideas and start to realize that you are non-local, that you just simply exist everywhere, all of these latent, dormant abilities start to light up and start to come back online. And I know a lot of people go about these, opening up their chakras and restoring their latent abilities using all these difficult, complicated techniques and things that don't work, which further amplifies this idea of separation, or maybe the idea that you're not worthy, or the idea that you're not going to be able to do it, or you're not good enough, or whatever that is. That's a common just effect of being at a lower frequency vibration, right? You're vibrating slower, you're more physical, you're more heavy, you're more separate from the multi-dimensional you. But when you learn how to start to remove those energetic blocks, and you start to be able to lean into these energetic dormant abilities, something amazing happens. They start to light up. And I've seen it happen over and over again with people that take my courses and people that I work with one-on-one and people that are in a new you. When these dormant latent abilities, they're just kind of offline, start to light back up. It's such an amazing thing. Information starts to pass non-locally. Sometimes you don't need to be in the vicinity or in the same room with somebody, but yet you're able to perceive information. You're able to understand it. You're able to see their energy field, their aura. It starts to pop, and the colors and the size and the fluidity of it. And with that information from that energy field moves through you, and you start to understand what's happening with that other person. This is moving into the quantum field. This is not operating from a perspective of separation as only seen through your five senses. It's like looking at that galaxy that is 30 million light years away. I could see it. My brain's saying it's so far away, but when I get inside quantumly and I focus on that image, I can feel it. I can feel what's going on, and I can perceive information from that image. And there are people that are doing that right now with imagery and with just getting in tune with their latent abilities. They're able to tap into information that previously wasn't available to them because they were just viewing it from a lower frequency reality. If you are ready to start to unlock that latent ability within you, I'm going to drop a link in the description for my free masterclass to help you activate your third eye. I'll share with you the 3 mistakes you're likely making that are preventing you from doing that. It's absolutely free. That link is in the description, and I hope to see you there.